There's something familiar about this show. Oh, I got it! It mirrors my family to a T! Yeah, exactly like. Anyways, welcome to my final anime review. We've had quite the journey here. We've had some good times, a bad time, and now we finish things off with Spy Family to see if it's worthy of a win for Anime of the Year. If it's shit ton of nominations or anything to go by, I'd say it stands a pretty good chance. But let's take a look at why. Spy Family began its manga run in 2019 as a bi-weekly Shonen Jump Plus series created by Tatsuya Endo. The pitch for it was so popular that it's said that the serialization of it was decided before the initial meeting even concluded. Not wanting to go as dark as his previous mangas, Tatsuya gave the work a much more cheerful tone, which seems to have paid off, as Spy Family has received tons of positive reviews, various adaptations, including a musical that's in the works, and pretty goddamn good sales. The anime adaptation was also a huge hit, the second cour setting a new audience rating record for TV Tokyo. Unfortunately, since the Anime Awards will not encompass anything that premiered starting in October, the second cour will not be taken into consideration for this review. Some may see that as a good sign, as I have noticed fewer positive remarks about the second half, but that's a tale for another time. For now, let's take a look at this first half to see how it fares. Rival nations Westphalia and Ostania are constantly on the brink of war. Knowing that this would result in many people dying, a spy network uses their best spy, codenamed Twilight, to watch over a man named Desmond, who may be planning on setting the war into motion. The problem is that Desmond is incredibly hard to get close to, so Twilight decides the best angle to tackle this is to take on a fake wife and child, pose as a family, and roll the child into the same school as Desmond's kid, make them be friends, and get close to him as a result. Holy smokes. That's just part of it though. He can't use other agents to pull off this assignment for plot reasons, so ends up adopting a child named Anya, who ends up having the power to read minds. She, excited to have been adopted by a spy, tries her hardest to help Twilight out without him finding out she has these powers for fear of him being put off by them. Meanwhile, the wife he ends up with, Yor, is an assassin who would no doubt try to kill Twilight if she knew what his real identity was, and he probably her. Luckily, the two are absolutely oblivious to each other's identity, with only Anya really knowing the truth. Thus, we have our setup, which is really what the first half of the show is all about. I think this is a really cute premise, which is probably why the show is so popular. The characters are all very likable, and you love seeing them interact with one another while trying to maintain their individual facade. Each one does enough to warrant them being a central focus of the anime. But if I'm being honest, Anya steals the show here. She is the funniest character of the bunch, has the cutest reactions to everything around her, she's well written, I can easily see a kid acting in this manner, even if it does get a bit too far-fetched at points. Honestly, I think the show knows this as well, as we follow her more than the other two at points. She should just be the main character. Now that's not a knock at the other two. Yor has plenty of great moments to shine, and her ditzy attitude also makes her a funny one to follow at points. I would say Twilight, who uses the name Lloyd while undercover, is probably the weakest aspect of the whole thing. He's more of the comic foil than anything, which doesn't always work, as he's supposed to be this master spy, but he doesn't realize who his wife is? Yeah, I'm not buying that. Still, you can stretch your suspension of disbelief here due to the other aspects and characters being so strong. Apart from that, the show thus far doesn't seem to be leading to anything. I'm not taking the second half into consideration, but if I did, I would say that problem is even more apparent there. It tends to just fuck around for long periods of time. I'm giving it a pass here though, since this first part is really more focused on the build-up, but know that if you're gonna continue with it, this might be a problem for you.
私が秘密組織 P2 のボス、キメラ長官だ。君が新しく入った新人くんだね。
The show looks nice and the characters are all well designed, but I wouldn't say the animation is the strongest aspect of it, nor do I feel it needs to be. It's a comedy, and with it, I feel they don't need to go all out with their style. There is some action at points, which is nice, but you can tell that that isn't the thing the show wants to focus on, as even the action plays out like a comedy routine. I do want to give a shout out to the soundtrack though, which I think is actually pretty good. Kind of going off topic here, but I listened to each soundtrack to all the nominees, and while a majority of them were fine, I felt that this and Cyberpunk Edgerunners definitely had the strongest ones. I know it seems irrelevant, but by the time I got to Spy Family, I wasn't expecting anything that amazing since, again, it is more of a comedy, so consider me impressed that I found myself enjoying it to such an extent.
あんた情けないわね。少しは言い返しなさいよ。アーニャ全然気にしてない。
I think Spy Family is a fun time. It's one of those shows you could just pop an episode on from time to time and just enjoy. It doesn't have that, I gotta watch one more episode type of vibe, but that's fine. I don't think every anime needs to attempt to pull you into such an extreme. It can be a chill time. Kind of like putting on an episode of The Office or Friends. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that type of style. With those final thoughts, I give Spy Family a 4 out of 5 with the recommendation to see it. I don't think the show is anything mind-blowing, but it's cute and enjoyable and is something I can see most people having fun with. Alright, Spy Family, our next mission is to go to the local pizza party and murder us a large pepperoni pizza!
Yay!
Anyway, thank you so much for joining me and with all these anime reviews, everybody. Tomorrow, I have my final anime awards prediction, so please come back for that one. Until then, go spend time with your family. Stay safe out there, and of course, have a good one.